So let's talk about something big. Like, probably the biggest question you can ask. What actually happens when the clock of the universe finally stops ticking for good? We're going to dive into the physics that gives time its direction, and then explore a pretty terrifying theory for how it could all, quite literally, unravel. It all starts with something you've seen 1,000 times. You drop a glass, and boom, it shatters into a million pieces. You've seen that happen. But have you ever seen those pieces just spontaneously fly back together, reforming the glass on the floor? Of course not. It would look completely bizarre, totally wrong. And what's wild is that the gut feeling you have, that deep intuitive reason why that feels so impossible, is the very same reason we experience time moving forward at all. Yup. That broken glass on the floor holds the key to the ultimate fate of the entire cosmos. Okay, so to really get the whole broken glass thing, we have to first take a step back and look at how we even perceive time in the first place. For us humans, time is basically a river, right? It only flows in one direction. We have memories of the past, we live in the now, and we head into the future. And yeah, physicists have a cool name for this, the arrow of time. And it is without a doubt the most fundamental part of our reality. But here's the kicker, the paradox that drove scientists crazy for ages. Almost all the fundamental laws of physics, we're talking gravity, electromagnetism, the whole shebang, they're what you'd call time reversible. They work perfectly whether you run the clock forward or backward. So, what gives? If the basic rules of the game don't have a preferred direction, why does our universe only play in one? Well, the answer to that massive puzzle is hiding in the one law of physics that does have a direction. You could even call it the engine that powers the flow of time itself. And that law is the famous second law of thermodynamics, and its big idea is a concept called entropy. Now, put simply, entropy is just a measure of disorder, of chaos. And the law says that in a closed system, like our universe, the total amount of chaos can only go up. It can never go down. The universe is always getting messier. This is the one rule in all of physics that points the way. Think of it like this. Imagine the universe, right? At the Big Bang was like a brand new deck of cards, perfectly sorted, aces to kings, all suits together. That's a state of super low entropy, perfect order. The future then is that same deck after it's been shuffled over and over for 13.8 billion years. It's a state of high entropy, total randomness. So, and this is the really crucial part, what we experience as the flow of time is actually nothing more than the universe shuffling that deck. Every single thing that happens, a star being born, a glass shattering, even you thinking a thought, it's all just one more shuffle of the cosmic deck, pushing everything relentlessly toward maximum disorder. Now, for a long time, the thinking was that this slow march into chaos would lead to a quiet, cold end for the universe. But then, a discovery came along that introduced a far more violent ending to the story. The year was 1998, and a couple teams of astronomers were looking at really distant supernova, and they found something that just completely broke everyone's brain. The expansion of the universe, which everyone thought was slowing down because of gravity, well, it wasn't. It was speeding up. The culprit behind this is a deeply mysterious force we've now named dark energy. We have almost no idea what it is, but we know what it does. It acts like a kind of anti-gravity, a negative pressure that's baked into the fabric of space itself, and it's pushing everything apart, faster and faster every second. So if you take that acceleration and you just let it play out to its logical conclusion, you get to a truly terrifying scenario called the Big Rip. It's a hypothesis for what happens when that outward push of dark energy gets so strong that it eventually overpowers every single other force holding the universe together. So what would that actually look like, a Big Rip? Well, the timeline is basically a horrifying deconstruction of reality itself, from the biggest scales down to the very smallest. First, billions of years before the final moment, the pull of dark energy would get stronger than the gravity holding galaxies together in clusters. The night sky would go completely dark. Then, maybe just a few months before the end, it would overpower the sun's gravity and the Earth would be flung away into the void. Just a few hours before the end, the forces holding our planet itself together would fail. And in the final, tiniest fraction of a second, even the forces holding atoms together would be overwhelmed. Everything dissolves into fundamental particles, right before space-time itself is shredded into nothing. But here's the thing. the Big Rip isn't just the end of stars and planets and atoms. It's the end of duration itself. It's the end of time. See, at the final moment of the rip, the expansion of space itself becomes infinitely fast. The distance between any 2 points in the universe starts growing faster than the speed of light. Now think about what that means. It means that no particle can ever interact with or even send a signal to any other particle ever again. And here is the final mind-bending conclusion. Time is just a measurement of change, of one thing causing another thing to happen. So if particles can't interact anymore, then nothing can happen. No cause can ever create an effect. And if nothing can ever happen again, then time itself becomes meaningless. It literally ceases to exist. So, wow, faced with this kind of ultimate, absolute end, what are you supposed to take away from it all? There's this quote from the source material that just nails it, I think. It captures our weird, fragile place in all this. The reality we live in, it's not some permanent, stable thing. It's a temporary structure that is, at its core, fundamentally unstable. You know, our entire existence, everything we've ever done, all of human history, art, love, science, it's only possible in this fleeting cosmic moment. An era that's messy enough for things to happen, but not so messy that complex things like us can't form and stick around for a while. We should be pretty grateful for this cosmic mess. It's the only reason we're here to even think about it. And maybe this is the most profound idea to grapple with. In a scenario like the Big Rip, the universe doesn't arrive at some final state. There is no after. The very concept of a timeline, the road that reality travels on, just vanishes. When the last shuffle is done and the fabric of space-time finally tears, there will be nothing left to measure, and no when left to measure it in. The silence will be absolute.